Good afternoon, everybody. Just make sure everybody can get on here okay. How is everybody doing today? Hello, Linda. I hate it when I get that little bit of a glare in the corner and I'm going to try and set something on top of it. I can usually position things so that I don't get it, but hey, Jennifer. Hello, Diana. It's kind of gray out there today, so sometimes the lighting is a little crazy. Hello, Ellie. How are you guys doing today? I decided I would make some tags, gift tags. I'm pretty much done. I think the cards that I'm going to send out. I don't usually send a lot out. Hello, Carrie. So I figured I should make some gift tags. I find that if I'm going to add handmade gift tags, I need to make them before I start wrapping presents. Otherwise, like put sticky notes on them, sticky notes fall off. It's just a nightmare. And so we'll get some of those done. And then, hello, Christy. And then we'll be able to add some pretty tags to our gifts. Hello, Lori or Renee. So has everybody sent out any Christmas cards yet? I feel a little panicked this week. I worked all week last week, so I've been like crafting nonstop this week. And then it's like, holy cow, it is December 1st, yesterday, and I need to get my cards sent out. I did mail a few out, but I need to just get them sent out. Hi, Monica. It's like, where does the time go? You feel like you have all this time and it's still early. I'm just obviously stressing. Ellie, all yours are out. Good for you. Yeah, I'm going to try and get mine all addressed tomorrow and get them out. And then that way, um, I don't have to think about that. And I do have most of my Christmas presents bought, and then I can just do some wrapping. You're trying to finish making your cards today. Good for you, Jennifer. Hello, Tamara. You were thinking it was still early, and you know what? It probably is. I think there's still lots of time. I was actually looking on the Costco website because I need to order something, a calendar, and the last day for them shipping through Canada Post was the 7th. So that's, what's that? Monday, Tuesday? So I think that's Tuesday. So, you know, I think that's still lots of time. Um, yeah. And other than that, Erica had a little cold this week, but she's back to school. So she was home for 3 days, and that was very exciting. I kept her home for an extra day, even though she was feeling better. But man, that kid has so much energy. I don't know, like, if we only had that much energy, I would have all my cards sent out and all my presents wrapped. And she's really enjoying the elves this year. So she's decided to write them long, extensive notes, and that could be because she was home and bored. And she wants them to do certain things, and it's been slightly exhausting. Hello, Marlo. So she's been busy with the elves. She's made presentations and slideshows for them. So that did keep her slightly busy. So here's the tags we're going to make today. I really like these. I think I showed you these dies a couple weeks ago when they came in, and they are so cute. Anyway, we're going to use some deco foils, and there are lots in the shop, but I have the gold shattered glass, so it's kind of like it has that almost stained glass effect. And then using the enchanted rose and spring green, but there are lots of deco foils in the shop. So if you search for deco foil, 2 words, and then everything that's deco foil will come up, and lots of different colors. I think I need to get some. I didn't have red for some reason, so I think I need to get some red. But you can see, like, I used pink on some of these, and I like pinks at Christmas. So here are the toner card fronts, and again, there's lots in the shop. I'm going to use, this one is the Candy Stripes. It's the slim line, but don't feel like you can't cut these down. Basically, it's a piece of paper. You can cut it and die cut it whatever size you want. Hello, Brenda. And then I've got lots of dots, which I really like. So this is the dotted one. And then this is the stripes. This would look cute in a red too, or a pink. And then we've got the clear toner sheets. And these aren't specific to Christmas, but you can see just by adding certain elements, you're getting that Christmassy feel. Hello, Sandy. And this is the Dainty Hearts clear toner sheet. And I'm using these on this cute little whip topping. You'll see how we use those. Then what I really like doing is I like having these toner sheets. This is the 8.5 by 11. And it is the sheet, it's not the sticker. I think the sticker one might be sold out, but this is the sheet, and there's 3 in here. And so you can use up your foil and really use everything that you have by reverse foiling. And I'll show you that. We're going to make these 2, but I'm going to show you how you could then make these ones and use all those foils that you have left over. So these are really handy to have, the toner sheets. So those are the ones that we're using today. And then we've got the honeybee stamps and dies. So this one here, I took them out of the package, so I'm going to try and remember what the name is. And maybe Sandy, you can, if you look for honeybee mug, all of these, so I think one is hug in a mug. Sorry, I don't, what's this one? I do have the package for this one. Okay, the stamp set and the sweet little dies that go with the stamp set are called Hug in a Mug. And then I believe this is like Mugs and Kisses, I think, but honeybee mug, it will come up if you search that. And how cute are these? So you've got 2 mugs, each facing different ways. You've got the tiny little tag. You've got the snowflake, the little steam marks. You've got a heart. You could totally put the heart or the snowflake in the middle of the cup. You've got this sweet little spoon. This is the candy cane. And you've got large and small marshmallows. So there's so much you can do with these. And the stamps, I really love the writing. So I chose the Hug in a Mug, and I stamped it. And then these little bubble outlines, oh my gosh, I love them so much. So you've got all of these sentiments that you can put on your cards, but if you're just making little tags, you can choose some of the little, like they look like handwriting, and cut those out. And I love that they have those little bubble sentiments for all of the words. And then you even get the dies that you can add the little insert to the coffee that looks like a little latte. So how cute is that? So there's the snowflake, the heart, and the tree. And we'll do the tree for our sample. But they're all very, very cute. And all right. And then we've got these sprinklets. There are tons of sprinklets. These are Buttons Galore. So if you look for Buttons Galore embellishments, because they have sparklets and sprinklets, or if you look for sequins, hello Sharon, you're going to find lots of fun elements that you can add. I liked these ones have little teeny tiny penguins, which we're not going to use the penguins today, but I really liked the peppermint kind of look, and I thought that went well. So first, what we will do is we are going to grab our foils, and I have the mini Mink machine, but a laminator is going to work just fine. So when you use the card fronts, you definitely need the laminator. You need the heat. If you use the Decofoil gel that you can put through the stencil, that you can use just with pressure with your Big Shot or your die cut machine or a laminator. But if you're using the card fronts, you want to have a laminator. So any kind of laminator will work. This is the little mini Mink one, but you can just get one, cheap one will work fine. So I cut a little piece of foil that I know is going to fit my cup. So I think I cut it without, I probably should have measured it, obviously. That would have been helpful. Let's see. What do we think? I might have to be very careful. Yeah, it'll work. Okay, so we are going to, it's going to stick to all of these spots that are black because the black spots are toner ink. So we're just cutting this out. And these are great. These card fronts are really great if you want to stick them through with foil on them and then you have a background card front. It's sized perfectly. But if you want to do some extra things with them, these are good to do. So I'm just going to turn my machine on to number 3 and we're going to start foiling. And this is so cool. And if you do it with your kids, Erica was helping me when she was home, and it is so fun for her to just peel off. So you can just use a piece of parchment paper inside your laminator to put your little piece in, or I have this kind of a carrier sheet and I've got a piece of parchment inside just so any black doesn't get on it. You can use even just a sheet of a sheet of copy paper and just fold it over. So it's very easy. You're just putting it in and we're just going to get it to go straight. It kind of feeds through and then we just wait. Before you forget, you'll mention the new issue of the Scrapbook and Cards Today magazine is available tomorrow. So if you have orders that are placed today and onwards, if you would like one, just put in the comments that you would like one with your order of over $20. And they will be released tomorrow. They're always fabulous. So when I put that through once, it's probably enough, but I always over laminate and I put it through again because I figure, you know what, it doesn't hurt. Thanks, Sandy. Hello, Janet. Just catching up on comments. Hello, Sharon. You watched the replay. You will watch the replay. Your internet's spotty. Hopefully it's not mine. Hopefully everybody is doing okay. It's hard when it doesn't come through clear. So no problem, Ellie. Thank you for stopping in. All right, so this is our first one, and I actually really like the craft background. So this is the fun part, and we are just going to reveal, and you can see any place where the foil was, it's stuck onto those dots, and I really love this. You could do this in every color. You could have a cup in every color. These would look really cute too as ornaments, I think. So then we're going to do something with that in a minute. So we'll just foil all our pieces to start with. Now this is the clear toner hearts, and when you get them, it's a little bit tricky just to tell which way it sticks on. But if you're looking at this in the light, there's one side that's like completely flat, and the heart is almost a little shinier. That is the back of it, and the foil's not going to stick. If you put it through like this, nothing's going to happen. If you put it through this way, you can almost see by it looking in the light, there's like a slight ridge, and that's where your toner ink is printed on. Thanks, Carrie. So we are going, I probably cut that a little larger than it needs to be. And we may as well just save this for something else. I save all my pieces and I just roll them up. And we can probably put 2 in here because that's just a little piece. So this one here is going to be our green stripe, and this is more than we need, but I'll use it for something else. And I even die cut some candy canes out of it. Okay. And I find that it doesn't really, once you get it in here, it doesn't really shift around after you get it in. Now that I say that, it probably will, but so then we just put that straight through. And this was one, just kind of supporting it there so it doesn't fall out. This was one card front, one slimline that I did 2 of these. I still have some left over. You can see that I cut some candy canes. And then I think I would be able to do 2 out of that. So probably 4 once you reverse it. So you're going to get quite a bit of use out of it. And the decal foil, let me just run this through once more. So I just turned it upside down. So these have 5 sheets, and the sheets themselves are 6 by 12. So you get a lot in the sheet. I'll show you. And then I just roll them back up. So you're going to get 5 of these full sheets, and you can see, like, even if you were to do a full card front, you can get 3 card fronts that are 4 inches wide per sheet. And they're not super delicate or anything. You just, you don't want to crunch them up, but I just kind of roll them and then tighten them up, and they just fit right back in there. And then I find to get them off, the easiest thing is to just stick your scissors in and kind of put it at an angle. Okay, so here's our next colors. So this is the clear toner sheets, which are so pretty. And there's a bunch of different kinds of these as well. Like, look at that. Gorgeous. These would make great shaker cards as well. And then here are our candy cane stripes. And I think I probably could have run that through a little bit more. We'll try it. If not, it's still going to be fine. We're going to run that through. So we're going to take our toner sheet now. So this is just a full piece of toner paper. And I usually keep my scraps in here as well, just so I can pull from that. And this will give you an idea of how you can then use your scraps. So let's check this one. I probably could have run it through once more, but I think it's going to be fine. Isn't that pretty? That green foil is so gorgeous. And then we have this foiled piece left over. So the black and the gold. We're going to run that through. I find the toner sheets do leave a little bit of a black mark. That's just why I like putting that piece of parchment paper in there. And I think I need to stock up on some more of the toner paper. So we'll just cut a piece of this to fit. And I'm going to move this off to the side just so we have a little bit of room. So you can see, like, as you're doing things, you can just slide them through. All right, now you could also foil your, or ink your background. And I think I saw that Sandy had the new Tim Holtz little mini trimmer in. I have not seen it in person, but it looks very nice. Okay, so we have a sheet of that. And even if you just sat and did all your foiling at once, then the whole thing gets used up. So you're using that whole piece of foil. Hello, Jackie. I know, foils. Isn't that pretty? And that shattered glass. So beautiful. So that's the gold. Then we have the stripes. That's going to go through. So even if you don't have something in mind right now, if you have these foiled, then they're going to be ready for you, and you can go ahead and die cut them when you want. This as well is so pretty. So you can die cut, words out of this, anything that you want. You could use the dies for the little coffee, and where are they? Right here. You could die cut those out of foiled paper. Those would be really pretty as well. And then you could add that to your coffee. And I think especially at Christmas, anything with a little bit of shine is going to look great. So we are going to die cut the little cups from these. Use a little bit of washi tape. So have you guys tried any foiling? It really is so fun, and that reveal is definitely where it shines. So then we'll do this with the other. I do love that it has both right and left handled cups. Hello, Karen. All right, so we can tape that one on. And then this is where I used this candy cane die. You can place it either way. And then it gives you that look of the candy cane stripes. It does have the die that has the stripes. So if you're just using plain cardstock. Okay, so we will run both of those through and let's have a look at this. I just love this. Now, if you wanted to then take another sheet of foil, like if you wanted to put your sheet of a full sheet of pink over this, whatever's black that's showing is going to pick up the foil that you put on top. And then you could go ahead and layer that on another toner sheet. So really you could just keep going and layering, or you can leave it as the black background. And then we'll just do this one that we did the clear hearts, and that will give you an idea of how that looks. And then we will make our little cups. I guess we can cut that little piece off. So then I just sat yesterday after I made the two tags that we are going to make today. Then I had all the leftovers and I put them together to make two more, and I still have a whole bunch more that I could die cut out. Do I use regular parchment paper? Just regular, yeah. There is some parchment that comes, you're right, I forgot about that. That comes in with the, I didn't actually even take it out. You could use either one. So the little mink came with a little plastic carrier sheet, I guess it is, but I've also just used a piece of copy paper folded in half, or you can use the parchment, just regular baking parchment paper. All right, so let's run these through our die cutting machine. So here we've got all our little pieces, and we can save all those foils. And here's the last one that we'll look at. Isn't that great? And then you can go ahead and cut that into any shape that you want. Love those little hearts. So we won't actually make these ones today, but these are what they looked like, which they're so fun and shiny. Okay, and we can just go ahead and turn off that laminator. Okay, so we have, I really love this craft. I think I might get some more of the card fronts with the craft background. I really think they're pretty. And then this one is the green with the stripes, and it even has a nice little impression so that you can see where you can put your coffee or your whipped cream. And that's our little candy cane. So then you can create all these really fun little coffees. Okay, so on the green striped one, we want to have a little place to put our coffee. And what I found, I did cut out the coffee. So it's already here. You could just go ahead and put it on top, but I kind of liked the idea of actually inlaying it into the cup so that it looks more realistic, I guess. I don't know. I like the look of it. So we'll just add that on and run that through. And you kind of just line that up right with the top of the die, and then the bottom sits on that little line. And you don't have to, you could just put it on top, but would you guys like to drink fancy coffees? My husband actually makes me a latte every day. So there, look how cute that is. And then I saved these, but I don't know what to do with them. So if you guys have any ideas, so I've got a bunch of little ovals. So we have an AeroPress coffee machine. All right, so then we need to die cut. I should have done this at the same time. We need to die cut our whipped cream, and I have put it somewhere probably. Yes, there's the whipped cream. So this is my fear with going live and crafting beforehand, is that I set something somewhere, which I have with the whipped cream. So we may just have to wing the whipped cream because I am sure I set it somewhere. I'm going to have a look for a minute. It's probably stuck to something. So we have an AeroPress machine, and then we have a frother, and it is so good. So really, I feel like, yes, I'm probably a bit of a coffee snob. I'm going to look in my living room because that's where I was crafting, and I'm right here. And you know that I will find it the minute that I finish this live. Okay. And I don't see it laying around right here, so I'm going to have to look for it after. But essentially what I would do is die cut my little whipped cream, the same whipped cream that I cut this one out of, and die cut it. But we are going to freehand it because you know this was what was going to happen live. Sometimes you got to improvise, right? Because it's real life. So pretend I'm die cutting the whipped cream. Now the whipped cream has a really cute little impression that it makes. So you can, hello Margaret Erica. So you can see the little layers. If you weren't using something on top, like this clear toner sheet, you could totally come in, you could add like some glitter, some glue and add some glitter. You could add one of the Nuvo pens, the shimmer pens, and give it some shimmer. I did come in and add the Antique Linen Distress Oxide. So I'm just going to add a little bit just to give it kind of a creamy look. And that will show through the clear toner sheet. So the clear glue, I have this Nuvo Deluxe adhesive, or if you have the Art Glitter glue, it's going to just dry clear, and it's actually works quite well to, I'm just going to dab it on, and you don't need to like stick it down too crazy. So then we're just going to press it on. And that will dry. And we'll trim that a tiny bit more. Okay, so we've got our little whipped cream, and how cute is that with the little shiny hearts? And then I went ahead and die cut 2 cups from just white cardstock that I could back these with because I want them to be tags. And I'm going to place them so that the right side is facing out. Thanks, Margaret Erica. We're using toner sheets from Deco Foil and the Honeybee Designs stamps and dies. Okay, so before we glue those on, we are going to use our little whipped cream, and we can just add right to this little spot where the coffee goes in. I love that you can make it coffee, you can make it hot chocolate. You've got the marshmallows there. We're going to add the whipped cream right on there. Then we have this little spoon, and seriously, how cute is that little spoon? So then we're going to glue our spoon. So we're just going, we don't need the end of the spoon. We can add that. And then if you wanted to stamp something on the back on the tag, then you would stamp it before you put it together. Oops. So as long as we just kind of place it like that, it's going to be sticking up like we have the spoon in our whatever we're drinking here. And one thing I did just forget to do is add my little, I'm just going to pull this off for a minute, add my my little peppermint stick. So what I did was cut off the end of this and then use a craft knife. We're just going to make a little hole. So we'll just add a little hole here so that the peppermint is sticking right through. And the glass mat, you can cut directly on the glass mat. It's not going to hurt it. So I just want to make sure that's through. I think one of my kids put that washi tape on my craft knife, but it does help me find it. Okay, and then I'm going to add a little bit of glue and just stick the very bottom. So don't be afraid to cut these. You could put a couple peppermint sticks in there. Cut it and make it work for you. Okay, let's glue this back on now. And no one will ever know. Okay, now we can glue this. So really these don't take long to put together. And once you have all your foiled pieces, you can just, die cut a whole bunch, die cut some white backings, and then layer them together assembly line. So this is what you're looking at from the back, which is still pretty clean if you were to write your to and from or have something stamped on there. So we'll decorate the rest of that in a bit, and we'll just glue this together. So we've got, you kind of want to figure out what you want in your coffee, right? So I stuck those two things in first. I know that I'm going to put this in the center, and then I've got a little candy cane. So let's just dump this stuff out. So this is so cute, the little candy cane that's in there. And you can die cut this from, you could do the back white or the back red and then do the other color on the front, or if you wanted green or whatever color candy cane you like. So we have mint peppermint candy canes, but I know in some places they don't have peppermint. One of the girls that I know from Facebook, she lives in the Netherlands, I think, and they don't have peppermint candy canes. I think theirs are strawberry. I got some glue on there, but it will dry clear. All right, so I know that I want this kind of tucked into here, so I'm just going to not put a bunch of glue in that, just so I can tuck it back in. And I have to say that after the art glitter glue, which is my favorite, I'm really liking this. This would be my second favorite glue for white glue, and it's the Tonic Nouveau Deluxe Adhesive. So if you do use a liquid glue, you have kind of a minute to put it on and just slide it around and make sure everything's even. Hello, everybody who stopped in, Cynthia and Irene. Now you could take, like I was saying, you could take some ink and you could blend over this and it would go onto the white if you felt like you wanted to have some ink blending on there. So I'm going to add this little coffee, which I think is sweet. And what I found was the easiest way if I was using the die cuts. You know what, I found it. I knew it was stuck to something. It was behind this. All right. What I found was the easiest was to die cut my brown piece of cardstock with whatever insert I wanted. Then to use the little oval. There's an oval here, or there's an oval on this set here. They're both the same size. Then to cut it out and then to layer it over an oval cut with white. But if you wanted to stamp it, you can also use any of these stamps, which are really cool. And then they just have the plain one as well. So I feel like this whole set really works nicely together. All right, let's see if I can. Okay, so I've just got my little area that's not glued in there, and I'm just making sure I can easily tuck that in. And putting a little bit of glue on my candy cane. I love these kind of little tags. And at the end, I'll show you guys a card that I'm going to post on the blog. I haven't got it completely done, but it's like turning out so cute. By the end of the live, I always have so much glue stuck on me that it's like I need to wash my hands. Okay. So we've got our little candy cane in there. And then we've got these marshmallows. So I'm putting the larger marshmallows, and they're so cute. And again, you have those little score lines almost that add that detail. And I added the antique linen distress oxide. So I'm going to stick these behind the little candy cane, and they're kind of sticking out of the, this is probably hot chocolate, I think, but could be whatever you wanted. Maybe it's got some Baileys in it. And we found some pumpkin spice Baileys last year, and that has been a favorite ever since. So, okay, we've got our marshmallows. Does this not make you want like a yummy drink? Okay, then we've got a couple little snowflakes cut out with those snowflake dies. That's in this stamp set here. And I used the memory box. There's a bunch of memory box glitter. So if you search for that in the shop, there's a few different styles of pads. I think a lot of them have the white in them. This one was the frosted glitter pad, but it cuts out really nicely. It's a really nice glitter, and the colors are beautiful. So if you're looking for some glitter, and this has 24 sheets, so you've got 12 different colors of glitter, which I think it's kind of nice to have that selection. So I cut out 2 of the little snowflakes, and let's kind of just see where we want, like we'll put it right there. And these can hang off. You can have stuff sticking up and hanging off. I think it just adds to the look of it. Then I stamped the hug in a mug and a cup of cheer, and you can see how cute these are when they're cut out with those dies. It almost gives them like a dimensional rounded look, and it's really cute. Hello, Natalie. You have them. They are awesome, hey? Hello, Lorraine. How are you? Now, my other favorite adhesive thing right now are these 3D foam strips. There's a couple different kinds in the store. This one is the scrapbook adhesives from 3L, and they are the perfect size if you just want to add some little elements, or if you have a thin sentiment or something. They really, I've made shakers with them, like they're amazing. If you're doing a rounded shaker, you just pull off the back edge and they twist around, but they are perfect, and you don't have to try to cut your foam tape into strips, which I really like. So it just fit right on the back of there. And I didn't put a whole lot of dimension on these, just because, you know, you've got kind of the different layers of paper, but I did want to pop up the sentiment. And I do really love that the backing pulls off really easily. So we've got hug in a mug, and it sticks really nicely. So there's my little adhesive information. But it's nice when you find an adhesive that you really like. And I'm sure only, you know, card makers and scrapbookers would probably have that conversation or appreciate that. All right, then we've got another snowflake. So the this one and the spoon, the gold and the silver, are the brushed silver from Spellbinders. I don't know if they're still available, but they were in the shop for a while, but there may be some other gold or silver cardstock. If not, we're going to put this up here because I think having a snowflake in your coffee, would that not be cool or what? Then we're going to use these Happy Feet Sprinklets. And I should probably just zoom in a little bit for you guys here so you can see where I'm putting the sprinklets. I've remembered to bring I've got this kind of jewel picker type thing, and it's quite handy when you're trying to get little elements on. So what did I do here so I don't have to like spend 10 hours deciding where to put peppermints? Put one right there. And then we'll do the glue and put them on. But I feel like I can't do a card without having some kind of sequins or embellishment. Also, these little ones, wouldn't they look cute glued all onto your whipped topping? I think they'd be really sweet. And then for the little one with the whipped topping, we'll add one onto our snowflake. And there's some different sizes of these, which are fun. But if you had different colors, you could just match the colors that you were using, match it to your sequins or your sparklets. Okay, and then we just need to add our twine. And I searched for twine in the Scrap Shotz store, and there's a bunch of different colors that comes up. So if you're looking for some twine, so I just cut a length and then I'm just going to loop it through. And I'll zoom out so you don't have to. Thanks, Margaret Erica. And then we have red. I do like baker's twine. Okay, I like that, almost that country look. And then with the foiled elements, it's kind of just that nice contrast. Okay, so here we go. We've got our cup of cheer, and the back is all nicely finished, so we can add our little sentiment. And then I'm pretty sure if I got this on a gift, I would totally hang it on my tree for an ornament. And then here is our hug in a mug. So cute and sparkly, because I feel like you should always have sparkly things that you use at Christmas or that you share at Christmas. This one here, I made this into hot chocolate, so I just did a plain die cut brown one and then added the mini marshmallows and the little peppermints. And then here's that card that I was mentioning that I haven't finished it yet, but you'll kind of get the idea of it, and I'm going to put it on the Scrap Shotz blog, so you'll see that in a couple days. So I thought this was really cute. I'm going to add some more elements, but this was just kind of my idea of where I was going, and I used pattern paper from this Made by Elves 6x6, and I did see that there's more of the Made by Elves in the shop. So the 6x6 even has elements that you can cut out on the inside, front and back cover. So I took some off the back cover and I cut out like this whole little sign, and I die cut the little cups. There's sparkles and glimmer and glitter in that paper, so that's really fun. And then there's a look at, that steam. And then I cut this girl out from the back because she's adorable. And cut a little frame. And we still have the waffle flower. There's various frames in the shop. And then I just used a folder, a wood grain folder in the back. So kind of that's my vision for that. But I thought I'd give you guys a little sneak peek because there's so many things you can do. So many pattern papers. You could even cut your mugs out of like a wrapping paper. If you had a certain wrapping paper you were doing or using, you could coordinate the tag with them. I think that would be cute as well. But that just gives you an idea of some fun things that you can do. And these are the honey bee stamps. They're hug in a mug, and then the mug die set, which I can't exactly remember the name of. Thank you, everyone. And then the deco foil card fronts and the foils. So hopefully this gives you some ideas. And if you're still working on some Christmas cards, hopefully you have a wonderful week and weekend working on those and getting them out. And if you're foregoing Christmas cards and just making some tags, that's fun as well. I think doing things crafty that make you happy, that's what's important. You're so welcome, Margaret, Erica. Yeah, and I will be back next week with something. I don't know what, but it'll be something. So hope you guys have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks for crafting with me. Bye.